He has become one of the staunchest critics of the Trump administration in South America. Colombia's President Gustavo Petro has denounced the deportations of immigrants from the United States, the attacks on vessels allegedly carrying drugs in the Caribbean, and the capture of Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro as an attack on Latin America's sovereignty. As a response, Donald Trump threatened military action, accusing Petro of not doing enough to fight against drugs. On Wednesday, the two presidents spoke on the phone and agreed to meet in Washington. Petro spoke to Al Jazeera in Bogotá and explained what this means.
It was a means of communication that did not exist. It had never existed under the Trump administration, which is why the drug trafficking issue came up, because that information vacuum between the two governments was filled by a different, unofficial communication, basically mediated by political ideology and my opposition. Because I have been careful, despite the insults, the threats and so on, to maintain cooperation on drug trafficking between Colombia and the United States.
On January 3rd, we saw what we hadn't seen in the region in decades, an attack by the United States, the capture of Nicolas Maduro. What do you think of this, and what impact do you think this is going to have in the region?
Venezuela, depending on how the post-Maduro era, can fall into violence, and that would be a disaster. And to that extent, what I have proposed is a shared government through dialogue among all the political forces in Venezuela and a series of steps towards the elections, which in the end is what allows a society to decide for better or for worse.
Petro says he also spoke to Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez. He says she was concerned.
What I sensed is that she's obviously worried about it. She's also facing attacks. Some accuse her of betrayal, and that is constructed as a narrative that divides the forces that were part of the Maduro government.
Petro says the region is filled with uncertainty after the attacks on Venezuela. He is hoping Donald Trump will listen to what he has to say. Teresa, Al Jazeera, Bogotá.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.